Today we started Unit 4 looking at Lesson 2, Ratios and Rates with Fractions. A train is traveling at a constant speed and goes 7.5 kilometers in 6 minutes. At that rate, how far does the train go in 1 minute? How far does the train go in 100 minutes? Thinking about our given information, we have our kilometers and we have our minutes. So 7.5 kilometers in 6 minutes. And we want to find how far it goes in 1 minute. So thinking about a table, I'm going to divide both sides of my table by 6. And we end up with 1.25 kilometers per minute. So we're looking at a unit rate since we have 1 minute. So per minute, and what did we do? We did the kilometers divided by the minutes. So now how far does the train go in 100 minutes? Well, we're going to multiply 100 times 1.25 since it goes 1.25 kilometers in 1 minute, and we want to know 100 minutes. We're going to multiply by 100 to get 125 kilometers. Lynn ran 2 3/4 miles in 2/5 of an hour. Noah ran 8 2/3 miles in 4/3 of an hour. So what do we notice? What do we wonder? Well, I notice that 4/3 is more than 1 hour, and Lynn is less than 1 hour. Noah ran a bigger distance, but he also ran for a longer period of time. So some of the things we were wondering is maybe who was going faster, Lynn or Noah? How far would Lynn run in an hour? How far did Noah run in an hour? Again, we're finding the unit rate to compare. So we're looking at miles in 1 hour. So we're going to do the miles divided by the hours. I'm going to find their speed, their distance in 1 hour, and then I'll decide who ran faster. So for Lynn, miles divided by hours, 2 3/4 divided by 2/5. To divide fractions and mixed numbers, we need to first change it to an improper fraction. So 2 3/4. Well, there are 4/4 in a whole, so there are 8/4 in 2 wholes. Plus 3/4 gives me 11/4. Divided by 2/5. And then we learned change, flip. Keep the first number, change the multiplication, flip to the reciprocal, and then we multiply across. And we end up with 55/8. So 55/8 is the same as 6 7/8 miles per hour. For Noah, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take his miles and divide by his hours. 8 2/3 is an improper fraction, becomes 26/3 divided by 4/3. Another method you learned was when the denominators are the same, we can just divide the numerators. So 26 divided by 4 is 6 2/4, or 6.5 miles per hour. We could have done the keep, change, flip, 26/3 times 3/4 and ended up with 78/12. And if I divide both of those numbers by 6, we end up with 13/2, which is 6.5. So who went faster? Well, 6 7/8 miles is further than 6.5, which means Lynn went faster. We also decided then, well, maybe it would be good to know how long it took to run 1 mile. So now we want the hours per mile. So we're going to take our hours and divide by our miles. 2/5 divided by 2 3/4, which means 2 3/4, remember, was 11/4. So 2/5, change it to multiplication, flip it to the reciprocal, and we end up with 8/55 of an hour per mile. Hey, wait a minute. That's the reciprocal of the 55/8 miles per hour. So if we remember, we ended up with 6.5 miles per hour, or 13/2. So that means it should be 2/13 hours per mile. 8 2/3 was 26/3. If we do 4/3 divided by 26/3, we have 4/3 times 3/26, which is 12/78, or 2/13. So we can use unit rates to compare. And we did this in Unit 2 as well. We compared orange juice. Paige is making icing for her cookies. She has 2 recipes. Recipe 1 uses 2 3/4 cups of sugar for 2/3 cup of milk. Recipe 2 uses 4 2/3 cups of sugar for 1 1/3 cup of milk. Which recipe will be sweeter, meaning more sugar? So let's find the sugar per cup of milk. Let's keep the milk the same. So recipe 1, if I compare sugar and milk, 2 3/4, and we have 2/3 cup of milk. I want to divide by 2/3 or multiply by 3/2. So 2 3/4 is 11/4. We're going to do 11/4 divided by 2/3, or 11/4 times 3/2 gives us 33/8. So 33/8 is 4 1/8 cup of sugar per cup of milk. For recipe 2, we're going to do sugar divided by milk. 4 2/3 is the same as 14/3. We'll do 14/3 divided by 1 1/3, which is 4/3. They have the same denominator, so I'm just going to divide the numerators. 14 divided by 4 gives us 3 2/4, or 3.5 cups of sugar per cup of milk. And so recipe 1 uses more sugar per cup of milk, which makes it sweeter.